Hey guys, welcome back to the Dance of Evolving. It's Inner Sanctuary here, Anna. My artist name is Inner Sanctuary. You will see me a lot in the Tampa, St. Pete area performing different genres of house music. I produce it as well, and I hold community events that involve dance, stepping into your complete embodiment of self, authenticity, and making your way back to your true nature. We on a self-love journey, and we are in complete lessons of love every day in this school of life, and it's a beautiful thing that makes us all one. So today, as you can see, I am not hitting on music today. I'm actually focusing on something that a lot of us have been talking about when we're out and about, and something that's on my mind every single day. And it's, how do I build a life doing what I love? And today we're going to delve into this, and it's going to be very applicable for you, meaning you are going to have steps to help you truly envision this and start to brainstorm in order then where you will be able to then start to act on this and eventually start to implement things. So today, by the end of this video, you are going to have major steps that you can start even during this video to brainstorm and start to think, how can I find my bliss? How can I build a life doing what I love, but at the same time be grounded on this 3D earth and know that there are points of view that we need to be safe, we need to pay bills, kind of thing. I'm not making a big video about manifestation and skipping all of the real life stuff. Today we are going to be real. So let's then even start by just talking about the conventional view of work. If we're really going to envision building a life doing what we truly love, we need to address the stories that we're in and the validity of some of them, but also how to transcend being stuck in this mindset. The conventional view of work is that the point of work is just to make a lot of money. And it's doing something practical, not necessarily something that you love. And with this, it's thinking like, and this is where it's like, man, according to this view, and I've caught myself in this the majority of my life, is that work should feel like work. Work is not fun. You go to work all day, then to enjoy your night or to crash, and you work all your life to then eventually retire if you get to. And I'm not saying that this view is completely false and we should abandon it. Not at all. But I am saying that if we stick to the idea that you make as much money as you can in your job, then to go and enjoy life, it separates the parts of our life and kind of makes us not enjoying it as much. So this is actually called the maximizing money approach. And with the maximizing money approach, it's simply that you work to work. Work is hard work. If you work hard, you earn money. You climb up the ladder to be able to be successful, to survive, to hopefully thrive, then to be able to, outside of work, be able to enjoy your life and feel fulfilled. But I'm posing a question. What if life could be all-encompassing, just being you and bringing to the table what lights you up, and in a balanced way? So that's what we can start envisioning today. With this also, the conventional view of work, I mentioned earlier, it's splitting life into two parts. Like, think about it. Your realm of work, I mean, really take this in, because I've been part of this and I'm still working my way out of it. It's like 40 to 50 years in the making of working really hard, and all your money is there in your working years. And then you think after age 65, possibly, that's when you delve into your realm of passions. Well, I started to think about this and I'm like, okay, I'm 44 and, I'm really working on making sure my body is agile and I'm able to move. I love to dance. And like, I want to go on vacations. And I don't want to think like they're vacations. I want to explore. I want to connect with others. I want to just dive into the things that I love. And if I don't do those things until I'm 65, just doesn't seem right to me. And so thinking about that your retirement is where you get to do all the things you love, let's just kind of step into this with curiosity. And it's not like we have to completely abandon this idea, but what if we looked at it in a different way? And another reason to look at it in a different way too is thinking of moving into this, like staying in this your entire life up until you're age 65. Well, a lot of us will have health issues by the time we get to 65, if we do, and because of the anxiety and the stress. And I mean, we are in a mental hospital. The world is. I'm sorry, but we are. And I'm not sorry, actually. The universe is mental. Everything starts with our thoughts. And if we are living in an unfulfilled life that we do not like at all, not even love, but do not like, and we dread going to work, it hurts our mental health and it spills into your relationships, so you don't have the connections that you want to have. And then, I mean, on top of that, like, you can even look at it's not just opinion based. If you look last year in 2023, 65% of employees said they've experienced burnout. And occupational burnout, yeah, it comes from working hard. But if you think a little bit deeper, burnout actually comes from not doing what you love and being out of alignment. And with this, your health, I mean, your body, I've learned, and this isn't hocus pocus stuff, everything in my mind and body is like first whispering, but then eventually screaming to come back into alignment with my truest nature and why I'm here. So burnout risks cardiovascular disease. I mean, there's actual research on it. And anything that our body is screaming, I mean, I know that I can give you a quick example. When I was really out of alignment in my life, I actually had digestive problems, and I was told I had a specific disease that I would have for life, and was on, anti-inflammatories. And literally it took layer by layer, but coming out of that and being able to calm my nervous system. This is everything, guys, to understand the stories that we're in and to not avoid this whole work versus pleasure and what's a balanced heart space in it. That's what we're going to get into today. I'm excited because I'm actually in it every day and I'm trying to figure out what is the truth in it. So I'm here with you. So many people sacrifice their health, including myself. I've done it, to make money. And then they sacrifice the money to take care of their health. And they're anxious about the future because we're not sure what makes us safe. And then we can't even enjoy the present. So this entire time we're not living. The result is that they don't really live in the present or the future. And they live as if they're never going to die. And then die never really living. And when you think about this, if we're so worried about, the future, if we are constantly trying to work ahead to try to feel safe because of things that we've experienced in the past, I mean, if we're never really present, we're never really living. And so there's actually a way to, even before we talk about the heart balance space, let's go to the complete other opposite side of this. Some people tell us then follow your passion no matter what. Screw this maximizing money approach. What about maximizing your passion? Go fully in on your passion. Well, that sounds great. But let's talk about it, guys. Think about it. Super, super, super scary. Terrifyingly scary. And the reason why is because in the maximizing passion approach, you are completely dedicating your life totally to your passion. And they're telling you, okay, well, you won't have to worry about how to make money because the world needs and wants the thing that you love doing. So if you just go all toward your passion, well, everything will work out. I mean, that sounds great. And I've been there. I've been writing this in my journal and ready to go for it. But I'm sorry, that's scary shit, okay? Because if you really think about it, unless you have a huge chunk of change set aside or you have someone helping you, this could be a very, very scary thing. And what ends up happening is, you think right there, okay, well, you have to rely on your passion to bring in enough money to pay your bills right away. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you start to feel then that your passions are not so much fun. And what's sad about that is this is when so much pressure comes and it actually takes away the passion, and it starts to lead to burnout because you're then again out of alignment. So I'm aware of this, guys, and I'm here to talk real talk about how do you build a life doing what you love when you want to maximize your money, but not to survive. And you also want to maximize your passion, but not to the point where you're doing it and you're barely surviving. A lot of us in the music industry are in that right now, to the point where then your passion leads to burnout and it's no longer your passion and you're just like numb to life. So how do we actually get past that? And maybe we could pose the thought if it's not that either of these approaches are necessarily wrong, but maybe they're just incomplete. What if we could look at both sides and see how we can complete these stories in order to find that centered heart space? And in order to do that, like you have to see, you don't have to choose one or the other. You actually can figure out what's right for you, and we can start to envision this, and it's going to be actually really fun. So let's start this journey on how do you truly build a life doing what you love. And another story I kind of want to jump into of limiting belief that we're in is that we look so much external from us to find our answers. And honestly, guys, this is going to take self-reflection, introspection, and the ability to really look at yourself and examine yourself and even walk through some of the beliefs that you're in. You will not find these answers external to you. You actually already have the answers on how do you build a life doing what you love. You have all the answers you have within you. And I'm also realizing that right now. And so with this, we're going to do an exercise. You can either wait until the end of this, you can start doing it and pause it during the video, whatever you want. But we're going to start answering these questions for ourselves and not rely on something external. You don't need a counselor. You don't need a coach right now. You do not need a therapist. You have the answers for this. I mean, granted, you could take this stuff to your counselor, to your coach, to your therapist, and they could help you as you're doing this, but you will have all the tools you need in this video. And we're going to talk about stage 1. And this is what you are going to be able to do by the end of this video. So hang in there with me till the end. It will not be very long. And this is the envisioning process. You can think what your life could look like if it was built for you to do the things you love to do. Start to really envision this. And I think I'm going to actually make a meditation on this in the near future and in a playlist. There's an Alan Watts meditation, and I'll actually link it down below. And it's talking about doing what you love and being able to really work through beliefs. And so I build it into as a golden thread into a lot of my sets, my house sets that I do. When it's a quieter part of the song, I'll put in that meditation because this is the envisioning process. Okay, so we're going to, and if you want to get a notebook out now or just have one to the side, we are going to make a list of all the things that you love doing. And if you don't like journaling, well, you're going to want to journal for this, and it's going to be worth it. You don't have to list out these 4 things. I just want you to start in your head thinking about this. What are the things that bring you joy? Could be anything. I mean, have fun with this. Anything. Like, don't think about money with this. Don't think about any judgments you have on yourself. Don't think about what anybody's telling you should do. Just start to just freaking brainstorm. What are all the things that bring you joy? And what are all the things that you have deep curiosity about that catch your interest? What are the things that fill you with energy that you like actually want to get out of bed for? And then what are things that you find yourself where time flies when you are doing them? Like you are in this flow state that's almost like you go into a different realm. Just start to jot all these things down with this list in front of you, not with a list 1 through 4, but you could even just everywhere on a piece of paper, start to just jot down anything that comes to your mind. And you can pause the video if you want to while we do this, but don't limit yourself and judge yourself with any of your ideas at this point. Just start to really have fun with this. And you can go ahead and pause this, but I'm going to keep moving on. And as soon as you do that, then I want you to come back, and I want you on your second step and have a different page in your journal. Make a list of all the things that you feel like you're good at. And it could be anything that like just comes naturally to you. And I get that this might bring up some judgment and just think about things. These are things that come naturally to you. They're things that you have a lot of practice in. They're things that you've experienced a lot. They're things that your friends and your family, they often ask for your help with. And you see that you're often giving people these things. Now, I'm going to bring this up because this might be coming up to you like, well, what if I'm not good at anything? And I kind of thought about this with certain aspects of my life. And what if I don't have any talents? Well, it's okay if you think that way. I want to give you a very short story to show you that usually the challenges or obstacles that you're going through, even limiting beliefs that you have, or experiences that happen around you that are uncomfortable, they actually can bring out the things that you're good at and the things that you're able to overcome and the things that you're talented with. There is a woman, and her name is Temple Grandin, and she actually had severe learning disabilities growing up. And this was at a time when they really weren't sure about what autism is. They would just judge students based on this. She was bullied a lot. So she had a childhood where, because she couldn't even up till the age of 4, she wasn't even really able to speak and make out what she was thinking. And so she definitely was bullied. She felt very isolated. But what heals you truly heals the world, and the way that you're able to move through life in really challenging times can bring about your strengths. What she ended up doing in her hard times is she honestly connected with animals, in particular horses. She would spend time where she wasn't able to speak to actual humans and communicate with them. She would communicate intuitively with animals and with horses in particular around her home. And doing this, it built such and eventually she was able to read, and she was able to write, she was able to speak and communicate, but her hard childhood brought her such skills to be able to understand animals and to be able to see their needs. And it healed her also that she ended up actually becoming an animal behaviorist. And she was able to come up with new ways to house animals in ways that it helped them thrive in life. And she thought about things and did things that no one else did. If she had not had these conflicts before, she would not have been able to build these talents. So if you're thinking that, okay, I'm not good at anything, I'm pretty shitty at life. No, what are you actually feeling shitty about? What are you struggling with? How can you, in the slightest way, start to overcome and move yourself toward a life that you can embrace and not want to escape? And then what are you learning? The second that you move your thinking from what is happening to me, instead of that, thinking, what's happening here and how is it happening for me? What am I learning? You can start building talents. You can start shifting your mindset and finding value in every moment, and then therefore adding value eventually. So just to move on with her story a little bit, she actually ended up, Time Magazine named her one of the most influential people in the world because of the way she connected to animals and her intuitive and inventive thinking. And there was an entire article written about her. You can pause this and read it if you'd like. But it really shows that you can embrace your adversities and have adventure in them and build a skill set, which will then move us into step 3. And step 3 is to make a third list of all the ways that you can think to give value to someone else. And this ties right into what we were speaking about. Anything that you're having a hard time about, any challenges you've overcome, any skill sets that you've built through your experiences, whatever is your state of being is going to naturally add value because it has become who you are. And so with this third list, you can also think about, how can I help someone solve a problem in life? What is coming naturally when I do that? How can I help someone do something more easily? This could be something that people either want or need, and they're willing to actually purchase. And if you're not sure about this, you can even think in your own life, what are things that I've actually spent money on in the past to solve problems in my own life? And as you're thinking about these things, and feel free to pause any of these parts in the video as you're making your list. And I'll make sure to put chapters on them too for each step. But really start to think, what challenges have I overcome that have made my life more triumphant? And how could I offer these ways of thinking to other people? You can also, of course, like I was just saying, think of the problems that you solve for yourself. And we're all in problems every day, not necessarily problems, but even conflicts. Something's always going to come up that doesn't feel right because it's not supposed to feel right. Our way of thinking, the way that we're doing things, the limiting beliefs that we work through, or the stories or conditions that we find ourselves in based on what doesn't feel right. We can then shift our thinking, and then we become more skilled at actually being able to solve these same problems for the world just by our life as an example. So moving into these 3 lists, think about the first list. What are all the things that you love? The second list, what are all the things that you feel that you're good at? And then the third thing is, what are ways that you give value? This, my friends, is a beautiful thing, because when you put all of these together, this is your state of bliss. This is where you will naturally be flowing. You will naturally have a level of devotion. You will naturally want to wake up in the morning. You will naturally have an inner abundance, and you will naturally be abundant. And just to start envisioning this is the first step. It doesn't mean you have to go full throttle and just abandon your work and abandon everything that you're doing, but just start to entertain this thinking. And as you do this, what's cool is these are the things that you find yourself doing, or even as you start to envision and explore, because the next step after envisioning is exploration. These are things that are going to feel like play to you, but they actually look like work to other people. And this also goes into an idea that I want to talk about, because we think, in a lot of where people tell you to build your brand and find your niche. I have another way of thinking as you're making your list like this. There is a guy named Tim Ferriss. I also think of, Joe Rogan. A lot of people that we see that where they start to find all of the things that they love, all of the ways that they've been able to solve problems, the things that they're good at, how they add value to the world, and they're able to put them all together. I want to pose the thinking of being able to combine several different interests and talents that you have in one way that's unique to you. It is like your spirit is your brand. You are everything that is your state of being. Everything you're working through is what you add value. And when you think about this, it makes it where you're not as limited, because what you're actually maximizing is your authenticity and your alignment. So you're able then to start thinking, okay, well, how can I use my intuition and my logical thinking to make decisions? And you can choose between so many different possibilities. What's really awesome about this is you can think of all your 3 lists, you can update them as you go, but then you can think, is what I'm trying to make a decision about, what I'm wanting to invest my time in, what my thoughts are centered around. Will this move me closer to my zone of bliss, or will it move me further away? And if you're maximizing authenticity and alignment, your intuition is going to pick up on this. So there's Ali Abdaal. actually has a feel-good productivity book. And it says on there that we think about burnout, and I mentioned this earlier. And if you find yourself in burnout, and I do a lot, and even when I'm trying to maximize my passions and authenticity alignment, this is a time for me to check myself. Because when I find myself in burnout, we often think that this burnout happens when we've overworked or when we don't have enough rest or recovery. But a lot of times, guys, misalignment is the reason for burnout. A huge reason for burnout comes from misalignment. When we realize that we've spent years or decades putting our energy into things that don't bring us joy or meaning. If we're doing things that don't have meaning, we're going to burn out. I mean, it's naturally going to happen. Bronnie Ware actually has a book, and it's the top 5 regrets of the dying. And a quote says, "I wish I had the courage to live a life that was true to myself and not the life others expected of me." Wow. I wish I hadn't worked so hard. I wish I let myself be happier. And when we think about a lot of regrets, it's a lot of people who just didn't get to do what they love. They didn't get to show who they were. They didn't get to know themselves as a spirit in a human experience. So let's start to think away from the view of splitting your life into separate parts. That doing what you love is just one part, and work has to be separate, and the talents have to be separate, and career advancement and education. What if all of it goes towards the maximizing authenticity and alignment? And you can still have the job that you maybe struggle to find meaning in, but find a different mindset and view to go in and know that now it's a temporary thing as you're maximizing your authenticity alignment. And we'll go into envisioning and how to maybe then start to think, okay, well, how do I start to move toward this while I'm still in the life that I'm in and have my security? We're going to eventually get into exploration. And I feel like this is time right now to wrap this up and leave you with those 3 lists and start to be able to envision making a life for yourself by actually doing what you love, but not having to jump full throttle, balls to the walls, in it right away, to the point where then you're burning out even in your own passions because you're barely surviving. So let's focus then today just on the stage 1 envisioning. The next video is going to be exploration. And that's where I am right now. I'm in between the exploration and the implementation. And it's scary, but it's freaking awesome. And there's a lot of unknowns, but I mean, to move toward that every day is so amazing. And I just want to remind you that making those 3 lists is your first start. So if you haven't done that, go back to the chapters and go first to the first list where you're making a list of all the things you love, and then, your talents, what you feel like you're good at, and then what you do that adds value, because we're going to move into that exploration stage. And the exploration stage is where you get to choose something inside your zone of bliss and take one small step that moves you to a closer to a life of building that life that you want. And it's one small step to move toward a life that you embrace and that you don't want to escape. One small step toward believing in yourself and knowing that you add true value as the one and only you. So if you're thinking, okay, well, this sounds great, I don't even know if I want to make this list, because I'm thinking about where I am now and then where I vision, this audacious vision of where I want to be. Know that very, very soon, next week, I'm going to post the exploration steps. And if you just start to envision this view of yourself, it is the very first step. And just get those 3 lists ready, and you'll be ready for the second video. You've got, once you finish your 3 lists of the things that you love, the things that you're good at, and then the ways that you give value, you're going to at least start to get an idea of what is your zone of bliss. And then start to just envision what that looks like for you. How do you feel when you're in it? And don't jump out of the life you're in now. But then we're going to go into, in the next video, How can you actually explore moving one step at a time into a life that you can embrace and not escape by doing what you love? All right. Love you guys. If you have not subscribed, please do so. And if you think that this would help someone, share this. Leave some comments down below. I would love to interact with you guys during these videos. And if you don't have the bell for notifications, this is going to be a 3-part series. So you're going to want to know when the rest of them pop up. All right. Peace and love. And may we all move toward a life and a way of thinking that is closer to our truest nature, to where we feel aligned with who we are and what we're offering to the world. And I love you guys from the love that I'm cultivating within myself. And I look forward to connecting with you more and more. All right. Peace.